Everyone, this is Trevor, and thank you for coming to my show. Today I want to talk about the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 version starring Donald Sutherland. And great movie. If you're like myself and you're into kind of the post-apocalyptic, end of the world, asteroid hitting the planet, something happening to the planet, you'll love this movie. If you've never watched it, pause my video and go ahead and watch the movie. But I'm sure that most people have seen it. But if you haven't, go ahead, go see it. It's a great movie. But on the surface, what is this movie? And like all your kind of zombie movies and whatnot, on the surface, they use the theme of, hey, invasion of the body snatchers, the creatures from another planet. They're coming over, they're taking over humanity. That's a horror movie. It's, a sci-fi. It's scary. Obviously, on the surface, those kind of movies, those are great. They're pure entertainment. It's, it's scary to watch, right? But what I like to do, I also like to look, under the layers, peel the layers of onions back. And what is this movie? Along with other, obviously your zombie kind of movies as well, too. These movies are all allegories for conformity. Okay? These movies, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, great movie. If you want it to be purely entertained, it's a great movie. But you also have to look at it from the perspective of these movies are all allegories for conformity. And, why I call this the COVID edition is because COVID and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the movie, are basically two similar things. Well, you have the movie version, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, then the real life version of COVID, and how people conformed, allowed themselves to be snatched. Just, we were told what to do. You walk down an aisle you have to follow the arrows on the floor. Put on the hand sanitizer. Put on, something to cover your face. A bandana from a dollar store. Take the COVID jabs. Oh, a year ago, 2 years ago, you had to download a vaccination app on your phone if you wanted to go to a sporting event, a restaurant, go into pretty much anywhere. There's just a list of COVID things that people just fell in line for. And it was quite disappointing. Quite disappointing from my perspective that people did all of this. But it just demonstrates, like this movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, is an allegory and demonstrates how people conform. Now, obviously, entertainment-wise, nobody wanted to be, sucked up by an alien and have your likeness born into this alien and you actually die. But the allegory of this movie is, how people conform. Okay. Walking Dead. There's another example too, a show I really loved. But the zombies are basically everyone. The allegory of that is people conform. There's a small group of people that are always left over, and they're trying to figure out, their version of how society should be run. But these post-apocalyptic movies are perfect allegories for just how most people conform and do what they're told. Okay, so, if you're watching, again, zombie movies, 28 Days Later, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I highly recommend. Go out and watch it. Great movie. On the surface, quite entertaining. It's a scary movie. But the underlying message, the allegory of this movie, is conformity. And that's all these, I would say most post-apocalyptic movies, television shows are all, the underlying message is conformity and how most people just fall in line. And it's very sad to me. It's extremely sad to see, like, the COVID version of this, the real life version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers was COVID. and how people just, they slapped on that dollar store bandana, obviously, the hand sanitizer, following the arrows down there, taking all the shots, doing what it what they were told. Um, most of the time I think it was out of fear. And governments, politicians around the world, hey, you want a job, you better get the COVID vaccination. I mean, it was a great sense of fear, financial, economic fear. People are like, hey, I like to eat, right? I like to have a roof over my head. It's, nice to have a vehicle so that I can drive maybe a little further to get the better job, or drive to wherever, right? Um, so I just like to point that out. I just These movies are fantastic, but I would wish that more people could see the messages behind the Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Walking Dead shows, The Last of Us. These are I love them. The Last of Us. I just finished watching episode 9 last night. I mean, it's quite entertaining, but again, the underlying allegorical message behind these movies is conformity. And I love how writers, I don't know if the actual people who write these movies, the books, realize what they're doing, but they certainly are writing about conformity. Because you always just have a little group of people left over, and have a little group of people that could be debatable. Obviously, people like in The Walking Dead, like Negan, you don't want those people. I don't even like Rick Grimes. I mean, there seems to be very few people who would live in a way that I prescribe the solutions to. My solution to these mass conformities, I would like to get more people thinking in a voluntary way. Okay? And get your mindset off of, hey, I'm not just a liberal, I'm not just a conservative. We need to think in a more voluntary way. How can we... Because if you're not living your life, whether it's a personally, you're making money, however you're living your life should be voluntary. There should be no coercion whatsoever in your life. But this is what we get. Look at the COVID. Complete coercion, okay, by despots like, the dear leader of Canada, Justin Trudeau, just to point out one of them, okay, who said, you got to do this or we'll financially hurt you, by, take this, do that. You want to go shopping, you want to travel, you want to do all this, you do what we say. You conform. Okay, and I get back to the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Perfect movie to point out the allegory of COVID and the conformity that was thrust upon us. Perfect example. So when you go and watch these movies, look at it from an entertainment level, but peel the layers like an onion. Peel those layers back and look at what they're showing. They're all allegories. That's, all the post-apocalyptic movies, really the meaning behind them. Hey, people are conforming. I mean, there's the entertainment level. Like, obviously, I don't think creatures from another planet are going to come in gelatinous creatures aren't going to put us in a pod and take us over. The Walking Dead, as entertaining as it was, that people can't turn into zombies. It's not going to happen. But they do turn into zombies for the fact that we keep conforming to a system of coercion. And the system, government is the ultimate form of a system that is involuntary servitude. Okay? It's a system of involuntary servitude. It's legalized plunder. And it's, we have to transcend from this, people, okay? This is the message I'd like to get across. We need to transcend from systems of government where it's completely involuntary servitude. There's nothing voluntary about government. Well, people say we can voluntarily vote for what? Liberal Party, Conservative Party, the Mickey Mouse Party. They're all wings. Left wing, right wing. They're all wings that connect to the same shithawk, and the shithawk is government. Okay? So I really ask people, start looking at ways of how we can voluntarily interact with each other to end these wars. And how does government thrive? Government thrives on wars. Without war, how does government thrive? I mean, governments don't thrive on peaceful interactions with people, but that's how we should live. That's exactly how we should live. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, starring Donald Sutherland from 1978. Go and watch it. Extremely entertaining movie. If you're looking for some kind of sci-fi, kind of horror, I put it in an apocalyptic kind of way, a movie as well too. Obviously, the population's not there, so in that sense, great entertaining movie. But it is an allegory for conformity. And please continue to watch my videos, because this is the message that I'm going to try to convey here, is how can people relate to one another in a peaceful way, and it's got to be voluntary. Okay? You should voluntarily be able to go and get the job you want, be with the people you want, travel. Okay? This should not be taken away by a handful of adults who claim to know best for everyone. They don't. Okay? So, go and watch the movie. Go and watch Walking Dead. You know, I actually haven't watched Walking Dead. We stopped watching it around December 2019. Found it to be just the entertainment value wasn't there anymore. But again, shows like that, movies like that, they're all allegories pointing out conformity and how most people just fall in line. But don't be most people. And most people, please wake up and start thinking of new ways of how we can transcend from this dinosaur legacy system of involuntary servitude, and how we can go to a voluntary way of relating to one another. Personal relationships, the exchange of goods and services should all be voluntary. Okay? So thank you for coming to my show today, and I appreciate everyone who's liked, subscribed, shared, hit the bell notification. I appreciate all that. If you could do that on your way out here, it really helps to keep the show going. If you enjoy what I'm saying, I try to get ideas out that you're not going to hear on the mainstream media. I try to think of different ideas to shake up people and get them thinking, okay? So thank you very much. I hope everybody's doing well, and stay free.